Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hey guys, we're your hosts, M and J, and today we wanted to give our quick thoughts on the second season of Hilda. We did a video reviewing the first season if you want to take a look at that, but Hilda is back for more adventures and misadventures, and it has the same charm of the original season, although it is surprisingly dark for a kids show. We'll probably go into some light spoilers in this review, just in case you haven't seen the season yet. This season expanded a lot on what we got the last season, like minor characters being given a larger role, and we got to see a lot of stuff from the first season come back and be expanded on. I really like how this show pulls from folklore. It's definitely a fun world to explore. It's very vibrant and fleshed out, and I like how the city of Trollberg and the surrounding woods are both interesting in their own way. In a way, the setting feels like its own character. We also met some new characters this season, most notably the Safety Patrol. They're led by Eric Alberg, a descendant of the founder of Trollberg. He's basically a glory hound. He wants to be famous and remembered like his ancestors is, but he usually ends up causing trouble that Hilda has to clean up. To be honest, I felt like his character was kind of one note. He doesn't really change throughout the season, and he does cause trouble, but it's not really all that different from the usual trouble that Hilda gets into. I actually thought he was pretty forgettable. The other Safety Patrol member we meet is Gerda. She starts out very on board with Eric's leadership, but over the season starts to realize that he's kind of meh, which isn't a lot of a character change, but just that little bit made her slightly more memorable than Eric. Other than that, she's a lot like Alfer. She cares a lot about paperwork and organization. And speaking of Alfer, there was not enough of him in this season. He's probably my favorite character. But what we did get of him was great. He's so cute. We also got a really sweet episode for Twig. We got to see his past with Hilda and their bond together. Plus we got world building, which I'm always a fan of. I really like how they also expanded on background characters from the first season. It was interesting to find out what was going on with the townsfolk. The show was darker than I was expecting though. Like Hilda and her friends end up coming across a witch's school, and inside there's an interdimensional monster that the witches have to keep feeding, otherwise it'll break out into the real world and start wreaking havoc. So they decided the best way to handle this was to feed it people periodically, which is pretty messed up, and then literal children end up coming up with a better solution. But it's weird that this went on for as long as it did with no one batting an eye. I guess people just accepted it, but even now they aren't going to face accountability for murdering people, which really isn't okay. Then there's an episode where everyone's murdering each other, but there's no blood so it's fine, even though that also includes murdering a child over and over again. But we did get characterization for David out of it, which is good. It did benefit his character. Still a little harsh though, but I do like the overall whimsical nature of the show. Just wasn't expecting things to get so crazy. We got to see more of Hilda's mom Joanna this season, and I think she's one of the better cartoon moms on TV. A lot of the time cartoon parents don't notice what's going on in their kids' lives, or they're not the most intelligent. I never felt like Joanna was unreasonable, and you can see where she's coming from. Hilda is still a kid, and she does get up to some crazy stuff. I'm also not really sure why Hilda doesn't want to tell her mom about the things she gets up to. Joanna doesn't seem like she's against adventure. She is usually working on her art, which I'm sure is pretty dull for Hilda, who doesn't want to sit inside all day, but I'm sure they can come to some kind of understanding. But Hilda keeps going out without telling her mom, even though she knows it's upsetting. I get she's a kid and she's going to make mistakes, but I did think that this plot went on a little longer than it needed to. I didn't mind it in the finale, but I did feel like at that point they had already done this a few other times in the season, so it was starting to feel repetitive. The season ends on a pretty big cliffhanger, which is kind of frustrating because it was just starting to get interesting. Most of the season was episodic, but we started to get into more plot progression, so I guess the next season will focus more on an overarching plot. So that's pretty exciting, and I'm interested in seeing where it goes. So overall, the show is a lot of fun. It has great animation that's fluid and a very pleasing art design. The characters are all pretty likable, although they do have some flaws, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're definitely excited to see where this goes. So those were our thoughts. What do you guys think? Have you seen Hilda? What did you think of season 2? Leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'd like to give a special shout out to our members: Caleb Nelson, Stutania, Tyrant Carnivore, Adam K, Shiny Orc Boy, Taylor Ramirez, The Rabbit Mancer, Dash Hound, Haley Kosheva, Ray Thulu, Hunter Rose, General Bolivar, Depth Charge Media, and Samaru163. If you'd like to become a member, you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button, or you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out too. You can also buy us a coffee if you want to support us that way. Link will be in the description. Thanks again for watching, we really appreciate it, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye everyone. Bye guys.